are traveling 197 miles an hour at the fastest racetrack in the world. In nearly all of us, there's a desire to be in this place. But where in the world do you actually find people with the talents perfected to control a 3,800-pound car for 500 miles at this speed, with the commitment, the perseverance, that pioneer spirit, the guts to pull it all off? Rare indeed, but 30 times a year, you can find these people on the NASCAR Tour in quest of the Winston Cup.
All the Speedway safety crews report to your vehicles immediately. All Speedway safety crews report to your stations immediately.
Okay, 21, have Mr. Boswell fire him up.
What a lovely day for a race. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time to start the 1976 Winston 500. Gentlemen, start your engine.
Tower to 28, everybody in place? Okay, Don, roll them off.
That was NASCAR race director Bill Gazaway in the control tower, instructing pit steward Don Wall to set the field in motion. We'll take a look at car 88, Darrell Waltrip, our camera mounted in his automobile to give you a driver's view of the world's fastest track. On turn 1, Cale Yarborough.
You're running well over 200 miles an hour when you pass the start-finish line, and it's just like driving off into a very deep canyon.
In turn 2, Darrell Waltrip.
Turn 2 is the most dramatic turn on the racetrack. I guess you're coming off so fast, you know that any mistakes here and it's Katie bar the door, it's all over.
Every big league driver in racing has his remembrance of the backstretch at Talladega, Alabama. Richard Brooks, 1 year ago.
I think every driver kind of wonders what would happen if he takes a crash like that, you know, if it's going to affect him or what's going to happen to him. And I think it really built quite a bit of confidence in the safety of the car.
Turn 3, Cale Yarborough.
The banks are very high here, and it's just like driving into a wall when you enter that turn at 200 miles an hour.
At turn 4, former national champion Benny Parsons.
The only problem is coming off 4, the wall kind of like jumps out in front of you.
The 17-degree bank tri-oval, Richard Brooks.
Well, the tri-oval here is not banked near as much as it is at Daytona, and your car tends to get a little bit looser here.
That's Dave Marcus, the K&K Dodge, Wausau, Wisconsin farm kid. He's faster than anyone here today at 189 miles an hour. There's Richard Petty's STP Dodge, 7 times the national champion. If you want an American hero who does not have feet of clay, this is your man. Donnie Allison, the Gilmore Chevrolet, car 28 from Hueytown, Alabama, 32 years of age, and for the past 2 decades, one of this country's great drivers. Car 72, former national champion from Ellaby, North Carolina, and Detroit, the Kings Row Fireplace Chevrolet, Benny Parsons. Car 11, Holly Farm Chevrolet, Cale Yarborough, as bright, as tough a driver as there ever was.
The last American hero, Junior Johnson. What kind of instruction did you give Cale Yarborough for the race?
Go to the front.
One of the brightest new stars in American racing from Franklin, Tennessee, the Gatorade Chevrolet's Darrell Waltrip. There's the leader of the Alabama gang, Bobby Allison, in Roger Penske's Cam 2 Mercury. And then there's the Silver Fox, 3-time national champion David Pearson in the Purolator Mercury. And car 15, Buddy Baker's Norris Ford, who's won this race 2 times in a row, seeking his 3rd today. And take a look at how he did it twice in a row back in '75. Here he is being challenged by David Pearson high. Then Pearson, in that 21 car, moves to the inside for one more stab. But at the finish line, it's Baker. Then in August 1975, another typical Talladega finish. Here comes Richard Petty, menacing to the inside of Buddy Baker, who closes the door. And Baker has won 2 in a row.
Okay, caution car, you can come off this time by Mr. Starter, all yours.
For a driver, whether it's his first or 101st start, as the thousands cheer and the engines come to full song, there is no escape from the anxiousness, the loneliness of this moment. Film star racing buff Jackie Cooper touches off a 22,000 horsepower missile with a waving of a piece of green cloth. Right here, you're actually in car 88, Darrell Waltrip's Gatorade Chevrolet, about 175, 180 miles per hour. Pulls in behind car 71. The Marcus car that was on the pole slipped back a spot, and now they charge down the backstretch to 200 miles per hour. Marcus into first, Waltrip to second. After the original sort out, back on the 31-degree banking, and this is what it's like. What's it like out there? Well, someone has said the best way to find out is to get out in rush hour traffic, say 4:30 in the afternoon. Roll up the windows, turn on your heater, the hottest day of the year, turn the radio on full blast, and then sit there in traffic for about 3 or 4 hours. That's exactly what they're doing here. The only difference is they're going 190 miles per hour. At the keyboard of car 88, which is in the draft of car 71, the Marcus automobile. And in this, it's like the wake off a giant motorboat. What does it take to make a great, big, bulky American car slippery for a track like this? Well, this K Dodge, the crew chief's Harry Hyde, and this is what Dave Marcus told us Harry Hyde did to the car.
He puts silicone lubricant on the tires, and then he also applies that silicone to the front of the car and on the bumper and everything on top of the wax that he uses on the car. He waxes the underside of the car also.
Well, there's a lot more to it than waxing. They spend days putting every panel in place so they fit like a hand-tailored Hong Kong suit. A good one. It's Marcus number 71 in first, and then Waltrip's number 88 is second. Number 11, Cale Yarborough, maintaining third in that front draft as they go back into the first turn. Can a driver actually move another driver around out there at these high speeds and this drafting? We asked Cale Yarborough about that.
You can play tricks with the wind and the drafts and move him around a little bit. I don't think you can really get a guy in a whole lot of trouble, but you can keep him on his toes.
Privateer Darrell Bryant, High Point, North Carolina, spins in turn one. Well, that's racing luck. A high bank superstar one moment, just another driver down in the pasture the next. Under caution at the Alabama Speedway, like at any track, the pit's not quite as pressurized at this moment, but nevertheless, they'll change 2 tires, add fuel, and do it in an easy 17 seconds and send those drivers back on their way. A great deal of camaraderie here, a great deal of friendship, a lot of just old family ties. The Buddy Baker Norris Industry crew pushing their car out, and there goes the Waltrip Gatorade car. Richard Petty's machine refusing to fire. Petty trying to get it started. He finally gets it wound up, and the STP Dodge is underway. Well, there's his cousin, the disgruntled Dale Inman. We talked to Maurice Petty, Richard's brother, about what happened.
Well, we've always said Richard goes to sleep on a pit stop. There's a good for instance. He wants to sleep. He's sitting there with an island and dropped the clutch. He wouldn't give it enough gas, and he choked it, and he flooded it.
Even the superstars make errors once in a while, and there's no cover for it when your brother's the crew chief. On a restart, slower, lapped automobiles are down on the bottom of the racetrack. All the fast cars run the outside. And it's something in Winston Cup racing, watching them sort themselves out once that green flag's unfurled. Stacked like a squadron of World War II Spitfires, they prepare to peel off into a 31-degree bank. Tight formation with Marcus, the leader. Parsons now in second. Cale Yarborough third. Waltrip in fourth. Drops low in turn 4. Moves from fifth to third in that white and blue Norris Industries car. Marcus in 71, challenged by Old Yeller. Cale Yarborough, number 11, rim riding into the turn at almost 200 miles per hour. Yarborough appropriating first position. Baker climbs to second. Talk about rush hour traffic. Here comes Buddy Baker like a broken field runner at 195 miles per hour. Baker leads the Winston 500. Darrell Waltrip in second. In all, 8 cars running for the lead, less than 3 seconds apart. What unique problems does one have on the high banks of the world's fastest track? Buddy Baker's thoughts.
When you get in the corners, you can't really see the straightaways, and it adds a little bit of danger to it, and of course not being able to stop as quickly as you'd like, that's another problem. But as a whole, I love to run here. It's my favorite type of racetrack.
Buddy Baker's on the point. Darrell Waltrip now running second. Actually, 10 cars running for the lead. An exciting high to be out in front for Buddy Baker. A low point for Donnie Allison in the pits.
Donnie, you made an early pit stop. What's wrong?
Well, we got oil leak in the engine somewhere, and I don't know what it is.
How's the track?
The track's super. The car was going real good, but I don't know, what the deal was on the oil leak.
It's part of the mystique of motor racing that identifies with the American public, that business of no matter how good the athlete is out here, the machine can bite you. Richard Brookar spins in turn 4. Parsons tag, breaking away. He's center punched by Pearson coming out of the 4th turn, sliding 1,000 feet. Unbelievably, Parsons can still operate. The pole sitter, Dave Marcus, the super slick Dodge, looks like rumpled laundry, as it also was in that 190-mile-per-hour jam session. But for the Purolator Mercury and David Pearson, this Winston 500 is over. Pearson, the Silver Fox, the 3-time Grand National Champion, a man who's seen and done it all, has just ridden one down. What kind of guy becomes a monarch of American super speedway racing?
I don't know. I just have to say that I've been lucky. Of course, you got to be around at the end of the race before you can win.
To me, just the idea of going 185, 190 miles an hour is frightening. Do you like running that fast?
Well, if I said I did, I'd probably be lying. I think it, you feel safer if you was running 100 mile an hour, naturally, over 190. But, of course, you can't say that cut speed's back, because if you're racing, you're racing, and that's the name of the game.
David, it's been a lot of years you've been running. How much longer are these other guys going to have to contend with the Silver Fox?
I don't really know.
Is it still fun?
Yeah, anytime you win, it's fun. And, of course, I'd have to say that it's not as much fun to me as it was 10 years ago, because 10 years ago I'd have jumped in the car and run it for nothing, just get to say that I drove Wood Brothers Mercury. But I enjoy racing, and I think when I get to where I don't enjoy it, I'll quit.
David Pearson forced to walk away from this Winston 500 after this crash. Richard Brooks spinning, taps Benny Parsons, bottom of the track, who fights all the way to the wall for control, misses the concrete, but slides directly into the path of Pearson. Dave Marcus, the red car, trying to go outside, and Pearson has no place to go but right through Parsons' door. If he'd been out of the throttle just a second earlier, up the track just a few inches more, he might have come through. But that's the difference in Winston Cup racing between winning and losing, inches and seconds. Back under green, 7 cars in contention for the lead, door handle to door handle racing. It's not just engines and tires, horsepower and torque. It's a personal 190-mile-per-hour chess game. Like in chess or any violent sport, intimidation is a key weapon. Richard Brooks.
You can pull him around the middle of the racetrack 2 or 3 laps, and you try to get him loosened up a little bit and then drop right to the bottom. Or if you can, you lead him in kind of high and then pull it right to the bottom. And sometimes you can dump him. You can see him wiggle all the way up to the wall. So you can kind of, play with a guy's mind a little bit.
Darrell Waltrip.
But you stick the nose alongside of somebody or bump them just a little bit in the back end. A little bump in the back end is the most intimidating thing that can happen to you on a racetrack, and that does wonders sometimes for another competitor, even Richard Petty.
I guess maybe you can intimidate a few people just by being out there. I don't know, but as far as really bugging anybody, I guess you probably could.
The presence of Richard Petty is enough to make some give a little ground. Gary Myers, car number 95, hand grenades the engine. Caution is on the speedway, and that's only the third time today we've seen the caution flag. It seems impossible that with just these few intense, noisy seconds to let your shoulders sag, that a man can keep his concentration and his reflexes at a peak for 3 or 4 hours.
Well, if the crew does their usual good job, you don't have much time to keep your mind busy. Usually, it's just barely enough time to reach out and get a drink of Coke or a wet rag or something. About a 15-second two-tire pit stop, and you're ready to go.
With the Winston 500 moving toward conclusion, 70,000 parishioners are rejoicing. Baker is in front, but here comes Richard Petty's STP Dodge alongside. Former teammates, nothing very matey matched up out there. Out of turn 4, deadlock, and there in the red car, trying to get a lap back, Donnie Allison makes it 3 deep. All of this at over 195 miles per hour. It's a Chevrolet on the inside, Ford in the middle, Dodge on the outside. Donnie Allison tucks back into drafting, slipstreaming they call it. They say that 2 cars running nose to tail run faster than 1 car by itself, but drafting's a whole lot more. If you know it, you know a 200-page playbook. As Baker and Petty beat on each other's flanks, here's a paragraph on drafting from Buddy Baker.
Just like a wake behind the boat, once the boat turns and you get on the outside of that wake, the pressure of the water pushes you further on off the line of the car that's in front. And drafting, same way. It's very similar to boat driving or anything like that, where you have different currents that you have to work with.
This car, the Holly Farm Chevrolet, is now second. Cale Yarborough in the cockpit, Baker's first, and Petty is on the end of the lead lap, riding third. Darrell Waltrip's Gatorade Chevrolet brakes an engine, and his day is done. Baker is taking 52 seconds to circulate around this 2.6-mile track for the Baker crew. That time stretches like a tired fan belt. Baker into the final lap, on his way to a new place in the record book. Here in the 1976 Winston 500, Buddy Baker covering the distance faster than any driver in the history of motorsport. Faster than the stock car record of Pete Hamilton in 1970 of 152 miles an hour. Faster than the overall 500-mile record by the late Mark Donohue at Indianapolis in 1972 at 162 miles per hour. In a draft with Virginia's Lenny Pond Car 54, the Pepsi-Cola Chevy, Charlotte, North Carolina's Buddy Baker is about to take his 3rd straight victory at the fastest race course in the world. Baker wins the 1976 Winston 500, averaging 169.887 miles per hour, a new world record for 500 miles. For his crew, and in particular for 25-year car builder Bud Moore, it's one of the finest of days. any place on the multi-million-dollar Winston Cup Tour, it all comes down to this. 39 men, 39 teams fail at what they set out to do today. One man will leave with a full sense of accomplishment. Victory, in essence, be it the fastest, the toughest, the slowest track around, it sugars off with this 15-mile-per-hour trip. Past the applause from those you just defeated. Past the cheers of the thousands who dream of sitting in your chair and doing what you've just done. And then making that turn into the warmth and joy of a place called the Victory Lane. Victory, accomplishment. It's stepping out into a world which in that brief moment, on that little piece of turf, belongs just to you. Buddy Baker goes home a winner. 39 others leave thinking of how they'll challenge him the next time, how they'll prep those cars to take away that Baker 500-mile world record that was established in this 1976 Winston 500. What kind of person is it that cinches up a seatbelt, takes the kind of risks we've seen today, with a few brief moments in the sunshine that come to only one? Well, Buddy Baker one time told us,
you know, I think about that a lot of times. I know a lot of people that work at a job that they dislike all their life and then have a heart attack and die doing something they don't like. But when you see me coming around the racetrack, you can bet your life that I'm doing exactly what I want to do.